I think we can all agree that it still aches. The heartbreak of losing to DR Democratic Republic of Congo and not qualifying for the finals of the Conference Intercontinental Final to get a ticket to the World Cup still hurts. I think we can all agree that. Are we all in concordance to that? But the truth about this situation is that when you look deeper into this situation, you don't see a team that just failed to qualify to the World Cup. You don't see a team that has gone back to back without qualifying for a World Cup. 8 years, all wasted when it comes to footballing years. What you see is true misalignment, is true misdirection, is true, honestly, a crack in the foundation of what we love in Nigeria football. In the footballing foundation, it is a crack that is honestly about to break the foundation. But the good thing about this situation is that when you're looking at a situation like this, every rebuild starts with heartbreak. You saw the likes of England. You saw the likes of Manchester United. You saw the likes of Arsenal. You saw the likes of Liverpool have all gone through one way, one circle at a time, heartbreaks. And they started rebuilding. So this video is going to be talking about how the Super Eagles of Nigeria can start the rebuild, and this will all start with the NFF. So without further ado, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on anything that we do here. Please, it is one way you show appreciation for the type of content that you do, and of course tell YouTube that you love the type of content that we bring you here on Pillar Sports. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. First things first, we have to look at what we know already. We have gotten the heartbreak. We are in a position where the likes of Victor Osimhen will be 31 or 32 years old in 2028 or 2030 when we are going into the next World Cup. That is if we get into the next World Cup. We also have to look at the situation that this generation of talent in Nigerian football is tantamount to the golden years of England. We have that type of talent. We have been able to recruit that type of excellent talent. But what do we have to show for it? Absolute nothing. Not an African Cup of Nations trophy, not a World Cup qualification or even a World Cup trophy. We have nothing to show for it. So the question is, it's not even a question at this point. What we need to start doing, especially at this particular time that we have hit rock bottom, because I don't think we can go anywhere lower. It's up from here. Is that we need to go back into the drawing board and start restructuring what we know as the Nigerian Footballing Federation, in therefore going on and building a Super Eagles that we can all be proud of. A Super Eagles that when this kind of situation happens, every single person knows that they are going to lose their job, because the amount of talent, the amount of time, and the amount of coaching that we have put in this team, we should not be missing the World Cup. That's one thing we need to understand. So first things first, before we even go deep into Nigeria, let's look at a country that has already done it, a country that had talents such as Paul Scholes, Frank Lampard, Michael Carrick. In fact, there was a time Michael Carrick could not even find playing time. We are going to be looking at the Three Lions of England and how they were able to get a very failed golden generation and flip it, go through the turmoil that they went through and flip it into England being the powerhouse that they are right now. So we are going to use them as an example, break down how they did it and apply that to Nigeria. And we are going to break down and basically build the NFF back up from scratch. So Nigeria Football Federation, if you're looking for a hire, I am here. Let's start this work. So first things first, with England, we saw them failing at the Euros. We saw them failing at World Cup. There was one thing that we all understood. There was no style, there was no direction, and there was a lot of wasted generation. With the likes of them trying to get foreign coaches to come coach England, trying to get local naming Gareth Southgate to coach England. All those things were things that happened when these people were trying to figure it out. And then when you see what they did, they understood we need a restructure. We need to understand and restructure this entire footballing team. And England, the revolution started. The first thing, they built a physical identity of the National Football Federation for them. That is St. George's Park. It was built and launched in 2020, not 2020, but 2012. It was built. And in that particular one came coaching reform, came a national DNA that was created by a collection of sound mind and footballing minds. They came together and created the England DNA. And after that, what you start seeing is a shift in tone from, oh, it was a lucky find that they found those talents, to now we actually engineered it. And when you see all those situations, then you start realizing that what we need to do, it's there. The blueprint has been set for us. It has been set for us already. Because what happens for England is that then you start seeing a rise of a new generation through the DNA that has been set. Understanding that the coaches that were trained under the canopy of St. George's Park were going to be using that DNA. Technical ability, physicality, adaptability, all those things were crucial in their coaching. And I know I'm missing more of those key terms that they use for coaching these days. But all those things were key things that every single young player had to go through in order for them to say, I have the England's DNA in terms of football. And of course, there was also a pathway created based on this. The under 17, the under 21, sorry, not under 21, but under 20. We saw the results of having a DNA, having a direction with the World Cup wins that they won with under 17 and under 20. And then you start seeing young stars like Elliot. You start seeing young stars like Morgan Rogers, Morgan Gibbs-White, Bukayo Saka, all coming from this DNA that they started creating. Jude Bellingham. And the beautiful thing was that they then got a coach. Be it that the coach did not have the cutting edge. They got a coach that embraced the culture of the Three Lions, embraced the DNA of the Three Lions. And then what you saw in that situation was they started building off it. And then you see the England 2.0, them performing in large, big moments because of consistency of the groups playing together. Big tournaments, they are going to semi-finals, they are going to finals. It is consistency from under 17 to under 20 and from under 20 into the senior team. We saw the consistency, we saw the build, and that is the beauty. That is the team identity, the team unity, the team belief that honestly they built with this team. Now, England didn't fix just their senior team. They rebuilt their entire footballing ecosystem, investing in local communities, investing in the Premier League, investing in the trickle down when it comes to different tiers of football, in order for them to unearth gems that we are seeing. The same system was able to unearth the beautiful nature of Cole Palmer, the maverick of Cole Palmer, the creativity of Morgan Gibbs-White, the bodaciousness on the ball of Morgan Rogers, the efficiency of Bukayo Saka. This was from the DNA that they created, from the new footballing ecosystem that they created. So how does Nigeria learn from this? Because that is the point right here. We need to find out how we learn from it. Now, this is the truth. Everything England did, Nigeria can do. In fact, we have done it before in the youth level. That's the key part. We saw that with the likes of Victor Osimhen and Samuel Chukwueze. We've seen it. They have done it before. We just have never built a system around it. We have never continued to improve on what we did with Nigeria winning the under 17. With Nigeria going to the semifinals and losing to Argentina when Mikel Obi was in the team at that point. We just haven't built upon it. And that right there is where the mistake lies for us. That right there is where the mistake rises. It's a problem. So this is what we need to do. NFF, I hope you're paying attention. First things first, we need to go into a dark room, a situation room, bring on older players, the likes of Sunday Olise, JJ Okocha, Kanu Wankwo, Taribo West, people that are known, people that have succeeded playing for the Super Eagles in the best way that we can. Bring them into the place. Bring the best expert. If you can go get Dan Ashworth, bring the best footballing expert to sit down in the room and answer these questions. Who are we? Are we aggressive? Are we fast? And are we attacking? These questions need to be asked. And that is just one of the headline questions that we need to ask. How do we play? How all the age groups should play? What is the shared identity across from under 17 all the way to senior national team and even the retirements group? You need to figure it out, and we need to build that DNA. Once we get that DNA and we have plastered it, then Nigeria, and just to give you an example, Nigeria has always been known to be very intelligent, very physical, skillful, technical ability, and just uncanny ability to be a rock in defense. Those are key things that we need to put in the DNA. And if you don't have those things, if you don't come through the DNA, you do not play for the Super Eagles. It's as simple as that. Second thing that we need to do, build a national training hub. I am not saying the national stadium. I am not saying the absolute disgrace that we just building a football pitch with the stands for the coaches. We need to build not a replica, but something that would challenge the likes of St. George's Park in England. Build that training hub. Build something that would absolutely want every single person of Nigerian descent that has the legibility to play for Nigeria to be like, dang, I want to go training there. I don't know if you guys have been living under a rock, but one of my favorite times in football is when the Three Lions, the players that play for England, are reporting to St. George's Park. It is fun. There's a field, multiple fields for training. There is a medical staff. There's sports science. There's philosophy, people that fixes your head. There's every single thing that you need in that. You need a Nigerian equivalent. You can name it Murtala Muhammad Training Hub. You can name it whatever you want to name it. But you need a brick and mortar that will represent, this is the way we do it. This is our DNA. And everything about Nigerian football should be passing through that building. And it should be the state of the art, the best of the best, competing with the likes of Leicester City's training stadium, competing with the likes of Carrington, competing with the likes of St. George's Park. One home, one standard, and one identity. Third, you need to go in and fix the youth development. Go into the academies and set a standard. Make sure that every academy that has more than 10 students in there has a license. And in that license, your coaches in that license, the program is going through the DNA, is going through understanding that this is the way, this is the pathway for not just the kids, but also the coaches to the senior team. That way you create motivation. You create a pathway that every single person can see. If we are aggressive, if we are skillful, if we are technical, if we can adapt in bad situations, and if we are intelligent, we can make it to the senior team. And when it's that clear, then you can align things to go your way. You get into structured leagues. You create a structured league, not just the Nigerian Premier League, which is great. You need to invest in that. But you also need to take those under 17 kids and go play in Dubai. Go play in Spain. Go play in wherever the situation is. The idea, you are exposing them to other leagues, to other players, to other people that will keep an eye on those talents, in order for them to pick them up from those academies and take them to their clubs. Therefore, increasing their education and increasing the experience that they have in playing football. In other words, creating a better player for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Third, in this particular one, find a scouting network that will consist of the best of the best. Give them the amount and the movement for them to go wherever it is to find those talents. Even if it's in the bushes of Sambisa, give them the amount and the ability to reach there. If it's in Benue State, in Makudi, in Benue State University, give them the license to go there and find those talents. Wherever it is, give them the license, go and find those talents and bring them to the national team so we can build from that. And we need to understand that produced. I repeat, this is how stars are consistently produced. Fourth, you invest in coaching. It is a key thing. It is a key part of this situation. Without this, it is not complete. Coaching badges. We need Nigeria to have a standardized coaching badges from the grassroots all the way to the senior pros. UK, you have the grassroots badges. You have an A, D, C, B, A, and then senior pro badges. You need to go get those things. Get it and put it in there. In other words, you create a pipeline of people that want to be Nigerian coaches or want to be coaches to understand this is our philosophy. You create the coaching badges around them learning those philosophies. And when they have mastered it, they get the badge to coach in the Nigerian Premier League, to coach. And of course, this has to also tie into UEFA badges. The standard has to also be UEFA badges so they can also get a means to go forward and get a career in coaching. Because better coaches equal better players. It's as simple as that. And now we go into the next one. Modern football culture. We need to step into the modern days. We need to step into the modern ways of football. We need to understand sports science. Put it in University of Nsukka. Put it in ABU Zaria. Put it in Benue State University. Sports science, psychology, data analysts. We need to be able to study our opponents. We need to be able to have psychologists on the ground. Not just the pastors, not just the imams. Have psychologists on ground that would be able to work with these players and give them the calmness that they need to play against the likes of DR Congo in that big of a match. Player wellness. Make sure that mentally they are right. Make sure that mentally they are protected from the uproar that they are going to receive. We all know what happened to Yakubu Ayegbeni after missing that goal. Wellness is absolutely paramount. It's needed. How players fly, how players sleep, how players eat, how players' families are taken care of when they are playing. All those things are things that are in the back of the minds of our players. Remove that from them by taking care of it, and all they can focus on is the game that they are playing. There you see a focused player. There you see a player that doesn't have a worry. There you see a player that wants to play for Nigeria. And there you see a Super Eagle. And then we go next. One of the crucial parts about this situation, the governance and structure of the Super Eagles. Because after all this, you need people that would be able to lead us. The idiocy of corruption, bar the stupidity of thinking that you're better than the coach. You need a clear roadmap to become a leader, to become structured, to become admin. Transparency. It needs to be clear. The money comes in, the money goes here. This is where we are investing it. This is where we are not investing it. But if you guys raise your standards here, we are going to invest there. It needs to be very clear. There need to be a tracker shown. The FIFA organization gave us $12.5 million. And we have put $5 million in this stadium. We have put $2 million in the Nigerian Premier League. We have put so. Whatever place we did, Nigerians need to see it. And we need to know that that money is going into the right places. And then we also would be able to going into partnerships. Partnerships with the likes of Argentina's FA. Partnerships with the likes of England's FA, partnerships with the likes of different FAs, different people from diaspora, all contributing in making the Super Eagles great. That is how you build a financial ecosystem that absolutely we will never have a problem like we did last week where the boys did not train because you did not pay them. That is how you do it. That way we make sure that our boys do not have any worry financially, do not have any worry in getting to camp, do not have any worry about where they're going to stay, and they are not coming out of pocket for that purpose. And then you look at what a rebuilt Nigeria could look like. I'm going to say this, and this might ruffle some feathers. Nigeria is a country of more than 200 million dreams. I can tell you, it's untapped upon untapped talent are oozing out of those Nigerians. And we can absolutely say that we can produce and have produced more talent than the Three Lions of England. If you don't believe me, go look in the past. We just never were able to capitalize on producing those talents. We let them go play for different countries. We let them rot in the street of Ojuelegba. We let them rot in the streets of A10. I testify, Stephen Ikujela, one of the best players I have seen with my naked eyes, rotting because he's always looking for an opportunity to get into the Super Eagles. If we had Stephen, we had creativity against Congo. Find those talents. Grew up in a place that every single black can produce 10 players. Ofu, Slim. I don't want to count myself in it, but I'm going to. Oche, Abdulaziz. These are all talents that could make it into the Super Eagles, but never got an opportunity because there was no clear pathway. We need to do better, people. We need to do better. From the under 17s all the way to Super Eagles, we need to have a clear defined style. We need to have a senior team that has depth and identity. A senior team that are global stars. A senior team that wants to play for Nigeria more than they want to breathe sometimes. Global stars that come from a structured system. Football becomes a national project. When you think about it like this, you think about it of this situation, it becomes a national project. And we never would have the opportunity or the misfortune of wasting talents like Victor Osimhen ever again. Like Wabwali ever again. Like Chukwueze and young talent. We have the talent. We have the passion. We just need the system. And now directly addressing Nigerians. This is a call to hope. This is a call for us to believe. This is a call for us to stand up and do something. This is a call for us to demand more from our NFF. This is a call for us to demand a new national project that will not only create a system that our boys will flourish, that our children's children will flourish, but that we can stand up and hit our chest, say Nigeria will never carry last, and actually mean it. This is a time that we stand up and say, we are the giants of Africa, and nobody will be able to say Fimbo to us. These things I just laid out, I can go a lot more depth in this for us to, if they need me to, do it step by step, I will do it. But I wanted to paint a picture for you guys to understand that what we need is a new system. We have seen it with Brazil currently in that new system, trying to rebuild. With Argentina rebuilding it for the likes of Messi. With now England doing it. With the star boy doing this in Jude Bellingham. So why can't we? Why in Osimhen, one of the best strikers in the world? Why can't we create a system, create a project, a national project that from now until 2035, the only focus when it comes to football is getting our boys into that system. It's creating a pathway that I just mentioned.